how do you compare and contrast what you're talking about to holacracy? I know some people who work at Zapatos or used to work at Zapatos who kind of launched holacracy and said, if you don't like the idea, 30% of you can leave and move on. And about 5, 6 years after they initially launched it, they're still embodying some of those ideas, but they got tired of licensing the holacracy kind of guidebook.
Mm.
So how do you compare and contrast what you were doing? Again, I'm still kind of focusing on large versus small organizations, and Zapatos was quite a large organization.
What I seem to notice in organizations is that it is quite common for about somewhere around like 10 to 15 to 20% of people leave when a traditional organization transforms into a self-managing one because they realize, okay, this isn't for me. Maybe I would thrive in a more hierarchical organization,
Mm.
or, or it can often kind of make visible things that weren't visible before. And I think, to answer your question about holacracy, I've interviewed Brian Robertson for my podcast actually, and found that very helpful because it has evolved over the years. But the best way that I could describe it is that holacracy is like a self management system, an out of the box system, and the idea is that you are supposed to implement it and sort of sign the constitution and do it wholesale. Now, Brian Robertson says that nowadays you can take kind of modules of it. It's a little bit more flexible. But in general, I think I see and speak to a lot of organizations who use holacracy as a sort of stepping stone, that it's very helpful if you go from a traditional organization to have something to step into, to have some structures and processes and, distinctions that help you avoid kind of going back to that top-down command and control style. So I think people find that helpful. And then some people love holacracy and stick with it, and others then kind of fork it into something else that works for them, and they maybe keep some of the ideas like the tactical meetings or, consent-based integrated decision making or whatever.